Merry Christmas, Charles.
Well, actually, I'm gonna keep it light, but in 1989 at Christmas time, I was at John Gardner's tennis ranch on Christmas Day. It's a nice tennis camp, and the lead instructor was very funny. There were like 30 of us or 40 of us and bleachers, and he comes in wearing a Santa hat. He goes, "Merry effing Christmas," because he's working at 8:30 on Christmas Day. It is not merry.
Well, but this is the Christmas special, the
Right.
rude dope, the red-owned Traitor.
It was in the art department. It has, as usual, outdone itself. It deserves at least a 5.2% raise.
Well, I prepared a video, Charles, because there are some potential Easter eggs here that people might not notice. Of course, we've got she as Santa. He's paying, you know, dumb Joe who wants to be a dentist in this episode. We've got Cornelius Yukon, who's out there rooting around any kind of white powder he can get his hands on. He's down with.
So
and then we've got the snowman. I don't know if people pick up this detail. That's Lindsey Graham. And then we've got the abominable Pelosi
Wow.
lurking
well done.
in the background there. I love that Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer puppet animation cartoon. I realized it kind of bit the style of Cheburashka, a Russian cartoon.
There you go. No, it was very well done. And this is, I think, unusually sparse here.
Oh,
Union
absolutely.
Square on Christmas Eve. Indeed, there are pictures of it going, actually ancient pictures of it going way back, is a mecca, or was a mecca, for people, some of whom came up from internationally to come here and to go Christmas shopping and not pay VAT and enjoy New York. But as we'll see when we walk around, New York is just a skeleton compared to what it used to be. And last night, you and I have been doing this long enough, I noticed helicopter sounds. I think we were talking, and it turns out, we're going to show people what happened, that once again, the same ruffians and the same playbook. You get a bunch of simpleton fools to just say, oh, we could go with impunity, and we could damage property, and we could do whatever. And just as they started with, the real name is Black's Love Mansions. It's not BLM.
Buying large mansions.
Or buying large mansions, whatever. But so the same group that was all in for that is now decided, without knowing the history, without knowing the whole long story, that what we're going to do is no justice, no peace. You can't enjoy Christmas. You can't enjoy Hanukkah. And with a new twist, the Karens are involved, and they're now saying you shouldn't give presents because the act of the wrapping paper and the presents themselves are consumerism, and people have too much stuff, which may be true. But the spirit of Christmas is I think, an ancient spirit, and it's a time of remembrance and hope and joy. And one would like to think turn the other cheek, but instead, let's take a look.
I'm just going to adjust this a little bit.
Okay.
Take a look and do what?
Take a look at what they've done to Abraham Lincoln's monument. There are people in the South.
Sorry.
No problem.
All right, there we go.
There are people in the South, if we go to the monument, who
I should have done this before we started.
That's
Sorry,
right.
Charles. Trying to get it in a good spot here for you. There we go. That ought to. Perfect.
So there are people in the South who loathe Abraham Lincoln. Even today, they loathe him. And when you look at what happened in the Civil War, he suspended the writ of habeas corpus. He threw journalists in jail.
Yeah.
This statue was erected, I hate to use that word, in 1869. I'm not sure what was sprayed on here, but last night, on three sides of the statue, hooligans defaced this. Helicopters were flying overhead. Here we see Free Gaza with the anarchist or Antifa symbol here, and the hammer and sickle, in case you're wondering who's really involved with this. Here we see blood of the martyrs, and I guess I hope that's not blood. I would guess it's red
I'm sure
paint.
it's paint.
Yeah, well, it kind of looks like blood, but it's horrible to do this. And here we have Free Gaza, Free Congo, Free, what is it? Free, what's the last one? Free Sudan, Free Palestine. And I'm sorry, people who do this kind of stuff, and the graffiti ruffians that you see over there in this.
That's not First Amendment. That's crime.
Right, and you see it over there.
Oh man, and the kids' playground.
Right, and this kind of stuff. I mean, Mayor Adams is excuse my language, he's a fucking moron. He made this much worse. bragging, he was virtue signaling under Trump, or whenever he started with it, that we're a sanctuary city, come one, come all, and Hochul's followed, and a lot of these others followed. No, this city has a gigantic budget now. I don't know how it's meeting it, but it has a gigantic budget. For that, you get no graffiti. For that, you get no homeless. For that, you get no crime, or very light crime.
You should.
You should get it. You don't get to say, well, it's somebody else. I'm the mayor, but the buck stops with somebody else. And by the way, speaking of bucks, I need some.
Where should we walk, Charles?
Let's go along. Start here, and then we'll go up 6th Avenue.
Sure.
Maybe. But this is an uncharacteristically warm day.
Yeah, that's true.
And you're just not seeing. Let's go through the park.
But that makes it even doubly weird that
Yeah.
there's so few people out. I guess everybody went to go visit family elsewhere, but still, New York City is usually a place people come to.
Well, yeah, and there were powerful reasons. The VAT across Europe is typically 20+%. And when you come here, if you want to go through the bother of getting your your sales tax back, you can get it back at the airport. It's a pain in the ass, but you can do it. And it used to be that people would fly from Europe, come here,
Just
do
to shop.
Just to shop, exactly.
And it kind of pays for the trip, right?
But I guess the dollar's pretty strong against the euro, so maybe that.
Maybe.
And Europe is imploding, and our future is Europe. If we continue down this bumblehead, traitorous path, every nation in Europe looks at the situation in China and says, we want to get on the right side of the Chinese market. We'll put up with
That
the
guy
tyranny.
took a picture of us.
I saw. I think he was taking a picture of the.
Yeah.
We'll get on the right side of the Communist Party and the People's Liberation Army because we've got no principles whatsoever, and so they're all enthralled to China, as are our elites, the rhinos and the so-called progressive hacks, especially including a dumpster fire, new name for Obama.
Now, Charles, wouldn't you expect this Christmas village to be like bustling right now with last-minute gifts, people going to parties, stop here and get a puppet
I mean, my attitude
of Joe Biden?
Maybe get another puppet.
Yeah, give it to Xi.
I mean, this
Christmas.
This is not exactly the best. I'm going to go that way.
It's not that full, really.
It's not that full. God, it's.
Ooh, it stinks over here.
Yep.
Whoa, what are they cooking in there?
I don't know. Pigeons?
Smelled like a turd.
Oh God, it smells like gym shorts.
I mean, it smells
Let's
like
go
somebody
this way.
pressed a turd down onto a crepe. Oh, it's coming out of this.
Nice. Oh, that's the bathroom.
Oh my God,
This is sustainable.
that's terrible.
This is a sustainable shit sandwich. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Oof.
And,
Roast. Oh, look at the Santa Claus dog. I like
nice.
that. That's not the type of guy I would expect to dress up the dog as Santa Claus.
That's true.
It was like a thug with two little.
I know.
Cute
12
little
days
dogs.
of cheese, 35% off.
No,
Probably,
thank
they'll
you.
probably raise the prices 50%, and then they give you a 35% discount. So if we go on this side of the street, let's wait here for a second.
Sure.
There you have,
What is this?
here this guy's or woman or whatever it is sitting there,
Where?
right there on the ground.
Oh yeah.
Just wait for the lights to change.
And now, what do we have over there, Charles?
a lot of where?
Something down on the ground over there.
Looks like wood.
You have no respect for wood. That's a low-grade wood.
You curb your enthusiasm?
Yeah. I revere wood.
Yeah. That guy, I'm telling you, he's not a comedian. He's just bitter.
Well, he's a writer.
He's crazy.
But
he's funny.
said that it's the last season now coming
Is
up.
it really?
I emailed that to you. 12th season, he said, it'll be the last one.
Better go.
Yeah,
We're gonna
but
go.
they don't do them every year, so it's taken like 20 years to do 12 seasons.
Is that right? We'll go this way.
But let's just look at this, because it's so
He's
strange.
selling this. That's what
It looks like garbage.
Don't say that too loudly, because he's selling
Oh, it's
it, right?
lamps.
Yeah. It's like,
Okay, we don't need
This is Exhibit A, and you shouldn't have gone to art school.
Yeah. Well, that guy's probably just selling weed to pay back the loans.
That's right.
You're part of that crew.
Yeah, I think I'm an artist. My artistry. I love people who talk. I really care about my artistry. You're awful. That's why you're performing. In the basement of Grand Central Station. You're horrible.
I one time hired a guy to design a logo for multimedia system design, and he came in to show me the designs, and he got the name wrong. And I was like, dude.
Why did you hire Joe Biden?
Well, he's like, well, I'm an artist.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, guess what? You're fired. You're stupid. You don't know the name.
Yeah, that's right. What it would be, America's got no talent.
Got no brains. But so, Charles, it's also important for people to remember that in about 20 minutes, we're going to be proceeding in the First Amendment Forum. People can join us there on odyssey.com/@crowdsourcethetruth, crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com, and subscribestar.com, and patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. We got a lot to talk about.
Sure.
I don't know if you and I have really discussed. Did we talk about the Colorado thing last time?
The decision is asinine, and it just really illustrates how corrupt the justice system has become.
Yeah.
There are two, I think, major structural flaws in the maybe three in the Constitution. The first is it didn't contemplate political parties. The Constitution. There were what were called factions in England, and they were disaster for England. And it should have explicitly contemplated
not having
the role of, well, if they're going to have the role that, they tried later in the income tax, in the charity rules, you're not supposed to use charities for partisan political activity.
Yeah, that didn't work.
Well, that's the only thing they did. Now, how does Pizza Hut and Taco Bell go out of business here?
Oh yeah, that's surprising.
You know?
Somebody just sent me, I forgot about this, but Pizza Hut, I guess, Pepsi, was one of the first brands to get into Russia
That's
when
lovely.
Perestroika, oh my God, the birds bathing in the filth.
Bathing in sewage. Now, you get away from that.
Good thing they're not spreading any disease. They're just wiggling around in there. But the point is, Pepsi was one of the first brands into the former Soviet Union, and so Pizza Hut, I think, was owned by Pepsi, and they opened a Pizza Hut in Moscow, and they had Gorbachev in the Pizza Hut advertising it in the commercial.
What is this? Nature Republic. I mean, this has always actually been, 14th Street has always been a challenge in this area for some strange reason. You would think, I think this street, 14th Street, is very wide, east-west wide, but it doesn't seem to keep. I guess part of the reason
rent is high.
It doesn't have restaurants. I think if you had more restaurants.
For some reason, it's always just been a junky neighborhood over here.
Right. And Bernie Getz, I think, lives in that building right there.
Really?
He used to. But anyway, so that's one of the structural flaws parties. The second is, Lincoln talked about it. I think it was Lincoln that.
Abe Lincoln.
Abe Lincoln, exactly. Certainly not Anthony Blinken. Anthony Blinken makes morons look intelligent. But Lincoln talked about the danger, and Jefferson actually also talked about the danger of a corrupt zealot, or a collection of corrupt zealots.
Yeah, we got that.
Taking control of government. And that's what we've had for a while.
Yes.
The third is this whole idea of husband and wife. So in the law, there's another bum in front of a bank. We have a bum bank rule. No bums in front of banks.
Well, it's not crazy because you're going in there to get money and then these guys are intimidating you.
Again, I was intimidated.
Sometimes they're in there.
I wanted to go, my Chinese restaurant that I loved is out of business suddenly. And I was on the walk up to, I was looking at buying a pool table, I told you. And up on 8th Avenue there was a bum blocking the entrance to this Chinese restaurant. And I thought, should I just tell him to get out of my way? And he was just too sketchy.
Risk a fight?
Too sketchy. And shame on me. I said, I'm not going to take the risk.
But it hurts the restaurant, doesn't it? Because now maybe a lot of people,
Right.
That's what they're trying to do, by the way, with these protests.
Sure.
It's shutting down the highway. I got to tell you, Charles, I think if you want to go to the park and have a speech and get a permit and go to Union Square and have a rally, that's one thing. But when you start painting statues, when you start shutting down roadways and preventing other people's right to freely travel, why is your protest supersede somebody's right to drive to the hospital?
Right.
They should just mass arrest anybody who is on a highway protesting.
Exactly. And painfully arrest. Not hitting them, but painfully making it expensive, a black mark on their record.
Yes.
You know,
And like if
or a
you're,
white mark, it's out.
I mean, they should just be, but we're in the opposite of that. We've just had all of these protesters get paid like 18 million bucks by the same judge
Are you talking
who's
about Biden?
presiding over
Yeah.
Goodman v. NYPD.
Well, so just the third strand of what they didn't contemplate is husband and wife
Right.
participants in the
Crime
swamp.
teams.
The reason being that you can't force a husband to testify against a wife or marriage partners to testify.
Get them divorced, then you can't stop her.
That's right. Exactly. But so here we have. I mean, look at this.
It's carnage.
This is so different. It would be interesting if we can get you to fly at one point to go to Singapore. Compare Singapore, which didn't exist,
I've
I
been
think
there.
in 1964, to this.
It was beautiful in 2009.
It was beautiful in 2023 when I was just there.
Look at this. Everything is out of business here, Charles. This
Well, you
is
see,
really wild.
These should be knocked down, right? These buildings should be knocked down.
And do what?
Put up more buildings.
Why? We have already too many.
It's sustainable.
Oh.
All you do is just call it whatever you want, call it sustainable, and all the knuckleheads, all the scruffies will say, "Oh, it's sustainable."
Better invest in that.
Yeah, better get my father to invest in that, or put some of my trust fund in that. But look at all this garbage on Christmas. Yeah, why isn't this picked up?
I don't know.
What's with this?
Maybe instead of hiring illegal immigrants as cops, they should make them garbage men.
Well,
But they're not going to like that. They don't like the food.
Well, one of the most successful companies I'm aware of is out in Ohio, and what they do.
Hey, look,
What?
Rehoboth.
All right. Yeah.
One of the things they do.
One of the things they do is they, if you come in, and there was a case of a chief financial officer in this very successful private company gets a job, and they say, listen, you know, you first 2 weeks you're going to have to do something you probably don't want to do, but you're going to do it if you want to take the job. What's that? You got to clean the toilets in the building.
Where was that?
It is in Ohio. So just, you know, understand that you're just a human, and you may have the lofty title, but you're going to treat people with respect inside and outside the company. And a very eccentric guy founded it, and you know, did really well. His children are now billionaires, but funny place. But we have the opposite. We have morons.
And they're always wearing masks. That's to hide their identity. They're not afraid of getting sick. That's banditos riding around.
Right. We have these people in government who have decided that they rule us. There are rulers and we are serfs. Yeah, that's gone.
That building's been destroyed.
Yeah. And nice. Look at that. You know, that person, whoever did that, you know, that graffiti there, should be rounded up, preferably at 2 o'clock in the morning or maybe 4 in the morning,
Flogged.
while they're sleeping. I don't know, flogged. But just enough of this bullshit. I don't, you know, if I'll pay for the art that I want to see, and I don't want to see that garbage everywhere. Garbage here, on this stuff here. You see it, Jason?
Yeah, they want you to smoke beer, Charles.
Yeah, right.
It's hard to do. You can't light it.
Right. And then here, just for a second, I see this name everywhere. Forte. This is a joint venture between. Who are these people, and how did they get the contract? I mean, there should be a department in every government that explicitly analyzes in great depth, you know, what were the potential payoffs made to the people who awarded these contracts by the people who actually got the contracts. And I see Forte's name everywhere. Don't tell me
That's not some
you know, that this person is especially good and cheap.
getting
and
every contract.
getting all these contracts.
They're
I mean,
especially good at that.
right, and I see it myself. I've had bitter experience. I hired one time a materials guy, did an okay job, almost 3 times the budget, and then I said enough of this bullshit, you know. And then I hired a different one, and the change orders made it go up like 25% over.
Or they love doing that.
Right. Well, it was legitimate change orders, but in the main. But it's very difficult to audit construction projects. Extremely difficult. And it'd be one thing.
Movies too.
I was just in Lisbon, and they built up, like Hudson Yards. They built up this beautiful.
Oh yeah, we looked at that on Google Earth.
Right. Once derelict section. It's now beautiful. Tell me a part of core Manhattan that is beautiful today. You know, just point to one part.
Hudson Yards is new.
Let's go core. I'm saying, non-recently built. It's just, it's
Yeah, it's
disgusting.
falling apart.
And, we know the trick with the subway is you just have perpetual maintenance projects.
Right.
Nobody checks. Nobody wants to go down and see what's really going on.
Cost plus billing.
And we're out of money. We're out of freaking
Worse
money.
than
And
out
that
of money.
knucklehead, moron, dope, idiot, traitor, Biden gets away with his equally dumbass, moron press secretary. Joe Biden has brought down the deficit and brought down the debt.
She's just making things up.
It's bullshit. With emphasis on the T. Bullshit.
Blue corn quesadilla. That looks good.
That's probably $200.
200. That's a bit high.
I'm just saying.
Maybe 8.
More than 8.
Might be more than 8. But how much should a quesadilla? $8.
In
Some
a
people-
restaurant, because you got the...
Yeah, 15, 16,
Yeah.
maybe more. It could be $20.
Sure. Well, we'll look at the next restaurant. We'll look at some prices.
I don't think they'll have blue corn, Charles. That's unique.
No, you
Look,
just
there's
pick up
a.
your food right here.
That's true. Save money. There's a fire escape.
Yeah. Across the street there.
Yeah.
And these Christmas trees are unbelievably expensive. Have you
Oh,
priced
really?
them?
I
think
no.
they're like 100 plus. I
I'm
remember
a
when they were 10.
very inexperienced Christmas tree
Yeah,
shopper.
that's true. So they're nice. They smell nice.
You know,
Excellent
along.
fire hazards.
I've mentioned many times that my family is not very religious.
Right.
But there are some things, like I remember as a kid, my father told me this story that they went to visit a cousin of ours in England, and my grandfather, who died when I was 1,
Wow.
who apparently I'm very much like, they went into Malcolm's house and there was a Christmas tree, and my grandfather so freaked out that they left, and he was pissed off at Malcolm for the rest of his life.
Really?
So no Christmas trees.
Yeah.
We're Jewish.
Right. I understand. I know other types of people who celebrate Hanukkah and Christmas.
Because these were people who escaped Europe
Right, no, I
when
get it.
Nazis were
No,
like,
no.
hey, see, I'm starting to feel a little bit of this now,
Yeah.
Charles, because it's not so much the connection to the religion
No, I
as it
get
is
it.
the heritage. And when people get together to be like, hey, from the river to the sea, and
Right.
they're here in New York, it's like, well, you're talking about me, so I know what side of that I'm going to be on.
Well, about that,
I'm not going into the sea.
They're not just talking about you.
I know,
They're talking
everybody
about
here.
Christians as well, and
Right.
non-believers, and whatever.
Black people,
Yeah.
everybody who's not a radical jihadi Muslim
Right.
who wants a
Knuckle.
caliphate, an
Well-
Islamist caliphate throughout the world.
And billions of dollars in the case of one of the Hamas leaders has reportedly got multiple, I think 10 or more billion dollars.
Yeah.
So that's bogus.
So we got 2 more minutes, Charles, until we make our way over to the First Amendment Forum. What do you think you want to really focus on over there?
The 2024 election. You know what that is? The slogan is for
I'm
Trump?
still hoping it's going to happen.
No, here we go. The Trump motto is going to be changed. It's going to be "Dead Biden be gone."
This is
Or
totally out of
"Dead
business.
Biden be gone."
How did they do this so badly, Charles? During the pandemic, this thing shut down and spent most of the pandemic totally not just redecorating. This whole ground floor thing got reconfigured with a downstairs and one of the hugest bed and baths I've ever seen. And then within 2 months of that, it just went out of business.
Well, I think I don't know, but I'm going to suspect that the company was not controlled by a family. It was probably controlled by shareholders. And management probably didn't have a lot of skin in the game. And when you set those type of businesses up, I think I'm drawn back to this. Well, I can't tell the whole story, but I think retail is a shit business. It's just horrible business. And so these large retail chains, I don't think many of them are making decent returns on assets when you think about the assets carefully. So it's not surprising it went out of business. I think based on what I'm seeing walking around, which is just me
It's
thinking.
amazing any of this stuff is still
Yeah,
in business.
and I think you're going to see a lot more bankruptcies coming in early in January.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll be back in 5 minutes.
Good.
And thanks to everybody who sponsors the show. We'll see